Game number 2 here of this best of 3 finals. Way Station, Close Spawns is going to be the host of it. And down in the lower left, we have the purple Protoss player representing Cascade, Adonminus. And to the top right, his opponent, playing for Vega Squadron, currently 1-0 up in this best of 3. None other than JonnyREcco. So, game 1 for Rico was, I'd say, quite a difficult win. And I don't think that's because it was particularly really close at any point. There was certainly some dodgy moments, but never a, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose now point. But because Adonminus was just relentless. He was really focused, he kept the pressure applied, and he kept on bringing it. And that meant Rico, until the real late game, never fully got into his stride. He fended off a lot of attacks, but kept losing the odd bit in there, the odd hatchery there. Adonminus really showed potential. Looks like, yet again, going to be going for the cannons if he can. Chucks down that forge. He was able to deny the natural base, remember, in game number 1. So it's certainly something that he could have some success in. Rico, though, opening pool first this time. Not the hatch first that we saw in game number 1. And I think, overall, that's a very wise decision from him. He's not going to be wanting to go for that risk when the cannons game 1 were just so irritating. Drone gets pulled down, and we should now get an attempt at a block of the natural. Pylon block going to come out. We did see this previously, and previously we actually saw Adonminus, not in this series but in another one, go for the 2 cannons, even though he's got the pylon block, just to further delay how long that natural could get taken for. Adonminus though cancels it this time, going to be coming back in, doesn't quite get the block there, and the hatch is going to come down. Behind this, he's got his Nexus coming down, so all in all, these two are in a relatively good spot. Rico's next kind of ballpark area to be gunning for is around the 4 minute 20 third base. As long as he gets that down up against a forge first, which I believe he does know about, yeah, he's seen it. He's in a perfectly good economic standing. Rico may even actually go for that earlier. He's got a drone down. I think he's going to gun for it. Wow, 340. That is a really early third base coming down from the Zerg player here. Feeling confident that his opponent isn't going to be able to really challenge it or try and punish that nice and quick. Does give a Rico a good economic edge though. Getting down that third at a nice early time like that means that he's going to have more lava, more drones, just a bit less map presence, but I think he's suspecting Adonminus is going to sit back, turtle up and play it safe. Natural base nearly done now for Rico. He's got his second queen on its way. First inject coming through as well, so that's the other advantage of going for a pool first, is you do get that inject just a little bit quicker. Overlord sitting here, just chilling, quite happy. Knows the timing of the cybernetics core, which is always going to be quite delayed if you have gone for a forge first opening, as opposed to, say, a gateway opening. So nothing really that can threaten this Overlord for quite a while. Should look at moving back when this cybercore is about a half done, just to make really sure that there isn't going to be a Stalker chrono boosted out to kill it off or anything like that. Otherwise, this is still looking to be a fairly safe game for the most part on both sides. Neither taking big risks. Really the biggest so far was just this relatively greedy, relatively early third. Minor point that actually made this viable is Rico getting that Ling on a patrol command here in case there was a cannon attempt or any proxy pylon put down there. Costs him effectively 25 minerals and doesn't really cause much of a problem as the game goes on. So, nice play there by Rico. He's also going to send now this Ling on a little hunt for any kind of proxy pylons that could be on the map, trying to find any avenue that he can attack into. Meanwhile, good little step here, just saying an Overlord to check the island expansion. Always the right thing to do on Way Station, especially in these spawns. It's incredibly easy for a Protoss to take this base, and if you don't see it and don't know when it came down, that can run you into some problems, because really the only response to it is to either drop down a Nidus or something sneakily, or to just go balls out or really out-expand them. Rico though, for the moment, going to be having to contend up against these Phoenix from the Protoss player. Adonminus, he's only got a couple coming through, should be able to take out this Overlord. But more importantly, these Phoenix are going to be revealed pretty early if they go aggressive, which they are. And as a result, Rico should have plenty of time to shut down Spore Crawlers. did actually immediately cancel a Roach Warren that he had in construction. The reason for that is Roaches really don't deal anything up against what could be coming down from Adonminus, whereas a quick lair into a very fast Hydra Den and Ling Hydra is going to be very effective. Adonminus though, he's also adding in the robotics facility, so this is likely to result in him gunning towards that mid and late game tech, adding in the Colossi, adding in the Voidways quite heavily. Makes him vulnerable though. We've seen this in previous games tonight. When he's gone for that kind of real late game composition, he doesn't have any gateway support for it until he's up at 3 bases for quite a while. That can cause him problems. Usually starts with a little bit of Warp Prism harass, but when he did it previously on Way Station, he did take this island expansion first. Certainly on the cards. May even see a Spire come down from REcco, depending if he wants to go for that kind of Mutalisk style play yet again. Wait and see what he's got planned, but no, Hydra Den on its way out. Quite a few Lings also charging forward. Going to be looking to see if there is an attempt at a third base. But the Overlord moving forward now, he's going to be gooping up that base as well, just in case there is an attempt to take it. But right on cue, Adonminus, he's got that Warp Prism coming out. He's got the Robotics Bay ready for the Colossus production. And REcco just falling back, putting away from this kind of quite dangerous situation, and instead waits for his Hydra Den to finish. The Phoenix of Adonminus actually doing quite a lot of damage, just being irritating. Getting the only damage done so far this game apart from a cancelled structure. Overseer has now seen that third base coming through and now scouts everything. Sees the Overseer sees the Robotics Bay, knows Colossus is coming, knows the Void Ray is coming. This just spells it out, plain and simple. REcco immediately side up the Spire, immediately side up the Roach Warren, and he's got 2 ways of playing this. On the one hand, he could rush out quite a few Mutalisks yet again. And that'd be quite nice because, firstly, he can deal with this island expansion that he knows about. Secondly, he can deal with the Voidways and those Colossi very easily with Mutas. Alternatively, he could run into... well, he can't even run into Vipers quickly because he doesn't have the infestation. So I think really his only option is to go for a lot of Mutas and Corruptors. The reason the Mutas are essential though is due to the Voidways. If you only get Corruptors, you just don't have any way to deal with those. But with the addition of the Infestation Pit, it could still be the Vipers. Fourth base also coming down for REcco, so he is looking to continue his economic edge. But this is now a very interesting game. 7 Corruptors are coming through. Maybe kind of deal with these Phoenix very early on, which is the right thing. If you get the Mutalisks out first, you're going to run into difficulties, just not really having a way to stop them. Roaches also on their way through. May go very, very aggressive actually here. Wait to see. Yeah, this is actually going to be just a charge down the front. He knows that if he's going Voidways, a third, and Colossus, there just isn't gateway units to defend this. And if he gets enough stuff out, stuff wins. It is just kind of that simple early on in StarCraft 2 that if you have a lot of things and your opponent doesn't have many things, you win. Regardless of what those are 9 times out of 10. Or obviously if your opponent has a couple of carriers and you have a lot of, say, roaches, you're probably not going to do too well, but you never know. You can hope. Corruptors ready to try and intercept these Phoenix. Okay, a couple of pot shots off, won't get a kill yet. More importantly though, we see defensive spores coming in, making sure that 4th base is safe. And REcco, well, I thought he was going to go very aggressive. It seems, no he isn't. Adds in Swarm Hosts and also the Enduring Locust upgrade. Instead getting defensive, and I really thought he was going to pump out a lot of units, but instead going for drones now. What changed his mind? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, apparently not much. Just looking to force back this Warp Prism. His Corruptors preparing to intercept. There's no real way these Corruptors can miss the Warp Prism now, I don't think. Should be able to get the kill, pretty much guaranteed. 1 dead Warp Prism, the Corruption also coming down. 2 volleys, dead and gone. Phoenix still out on the map, though the Swarm Host count is starting to reach the scary point. The scary point of Swarm Hosts is around 8 to 10 plus. That's when you start sitting there feeling very threatened, and you've got to be very cautious about how you engage upon them, because it gets hard. The lucky thing for Adonminus though is he does have a huge, or he's going to have a huge number of Colossi fairly quick, but it's if this army starts moving across before that Colossus count gets kind of 4+. That's when they're not going to have that damage output to shred through the Locusts at the pace required to stop the siege. The Void Rays coming through are going to help as well, but note there's no detection. There isn't yet an observer out on the map, and this is quite a big oversight actually. The Swarm hosts have definitely now been seen. Just got spotted there by some of those Phoenix, so it is known about. It's just no production in the way of detection. So while the Void Rays can be really strong, especially up against the Corruptors, for example, they're going to struggle to try and move in here. So interesting situation. Locusts already making progress. Their damage output crazy good up against kind of building some static defense. Second wave of Locusts coming through. The Void Ray count is super high. And that could cause Rico some problems, because while he's adding in Spores and Corruptors, Void Rays obviously feel very nicely with that. Locusts getting some good damage down. There are now 3 Colossi. Probably wants 4+ before he's in a good spot, but a flank getting prepared now by Rico. Forward comes this army. Adonminus knows that he needs to try and break this fairly quick, and he's going to get a good job done. The Spore Caller's not getting that much damage, but it's the counter-attack that could be devastating. Rico pulling back, he's retreating with his army. The Void Ray's getting a lot of damage done, but look at the roaches in the main. Look at the roaches in the natural, tearing apart the probe line. Adonminus is in a base race now. He has to win in this position, but with so many Corruptors coming out, they may not be ideal up against Void Rays, but when you've got so many, that damage is just going to be intense. It's going to be 15 Corruptors up against 14 Void Rays. More still trying to come through. A couple of Phoenix on their way as well. The Roaches though pulled off a lot of these workers. Void Rays making progress forward now. There is a fair few. Spore Crawlers also dishing out the damage. They're helping substantially. The Queen count also racking up more on their way through. The Void Ray numbers dramatically falling. The Spores have done their job. The Corruptors just in numbers doing their job. Down they all fall. Adonminus under 100 supply again. JonnyREcco still sitting on 4 bases, still sitting at the 70 drones. He's got a good number of swarm hosts, and he has done some catastrophic damage to his opponent's economy. Board these Locusts come, they're going to be trying to get a little bit of a kill, or a big lot of a kill on a Colossus. Won't be able to get it though, just sneaks away with 17 HP. Meanwhile, more Corruptors also on their way, and these Corruptors are just going to be produced at a far quicker rate than we could ever see come down from Adonminus's Void Ray count. So the production really is key. Void Rays getting taken down. The damage looking really good actually. The Corruptor count just far too high. The Queen, the Spores, they're helping too. Adonminus losing a lot of very important units here. GG is called, and JonnyREcco is going to be victorious in tonight's Go for SC2 Thursday.